All right, welcome to today's Explainer. Get ready because we're looking at an absolutely epic story of trauma, unimaginable willpower, and seriously one of the most satisfying underdog transformations you're ever going to witness. We are tracing the wild journey of Aaron Ferreira. This is a young man who goes from being a completely paralyzed, grieving boy to a literal earth-shattering warrior. And look, this isn't your typical story about someone born with innate, flashy, magical talent. No, this is a story about the terrifying, raw power of sheer repetition. I want you to think about the absolute hardest habit you've ever tried to build in your own life. You got it? Okay, now multiply that effort by 1,000. Prepare yourselves, because the stakes are high, the battles are intense, and the cinematic journey is going to completely redefine what it means to work hard.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our protagonist, Aaron Ferreira, actually earned a pretty terrible nickname growing up. They called him the deadbeat noble. You see, after tragically losing his mother at a very young age, the trauma completely paralyzed him. I mean, for 10 straight years, he did absolutely nothing but hide in his bed, sleeping his life away as a coping mechanism. But then, everything changes with this single, bizarre, inciting incident. Out of nowhere, Aaron starts having this recurring, super vivid dream about a mysterious, nameless old swordsman. And this isn't just some fleeting, random dream. He essentially experiences this man's entire life of grueling, totally isolated training. When Aaron finally jolts awake from this, the physical shock is just staggering. His previously dormant, atrophied body is suddenly screaming in phantom pain. His muscles are twitching, and his mind is just burning with this unexplainable, overwhelming urge to swing a heavy sword. To truly wrap your head around the crushing weight of the will Aaron woke up with, you have to consider the timeline of this dream. For 10 years, Aaron was completely motionless in reality. But in his mind, he lived the life of a man who swung a sword relentlessly for decades. 15 years without breaking routine once, 37 years of heavy, mind-numbing repetition in the freezing snow and the pouring rain, and finally, 50 years, which only ends when the old man dies, his cold, lifeless hands still fiercely gripping his sword. The crazy thing is, Aaron didn't inherit magic or elite secret sword techniques from this ghost. What he inherited was a mind-bending, 50-year obsession that physically forces his previously useless body into motion. He literally has to go out and swing a sword just to calm his trembling hands.
Driven by this crazy new urge, Aaron packs up and travels to the continent's absolute most prestigious school, the Chronos Sword Academy. Now, the power gap here is massive. On one side, you have Aaron stuck in Class F. He's got zero natural talent, he's struggling to even hold his breath while doing running drills, and he's being openly mocked by his peers. And on the other side, you've got Class A prodigies like Ilya Lindsay and Bart Lloyd. These kids are absolute continental geniuses, born into elite magical bloodlines. But here's how Aaron closes this terrifying gap. He uses a strict show-don't-tell approach. He doesn't complain, he doesn't talk back, he just trains. While all those elite students are comfortably sleeping, Aaron is out there in the dark, swinging his heavy sword, letting the extreme physical toll and raw, terrifying repetition bridge the massive gap between a deadbeat and a genius.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core concept of Aaron's power. It's called the iron will. It's the act of overcoming a complete lack of natural talent through terrifying, unbreakable, and frankly repetitive physical obsession. What's so deeply fascinating here is that swinging the sword is actually his therapy. Every single time his muscles scream in agony, that heavy, dark weight in his heart lightens just a little bit. What you should really take away from this is how Aaron essentially weaponizes his own trauma. He isn't running from his pain anymore. No, he's using it as raw fuel to forge an unbreakable discipline. His physical exhaustion becomes the absolute perfect psychological coping mechanism. He swings that sword to silence the pain.
Well, this iron will is put to the ultimate test during the Academy's notoriously brutal intermediate exams. We're talking about a grueling physical triathlon designed specifically to break the students. Out of hundreds of kids, only 35 candidates survived this first round. But right here, Aaron does something that absolutely shocks everyone. He is actually on track to secure a top 5 finish, which is a massively coveted spot, right? But he completely throws his own placement away. He dives straight into a lake to save his fierce, foul-mouthed rival Judith from drowning after she pushed herself to total physical failure.
Later, when he's asked why on earth he threw away his rank and a guaranteed reward just to save a rival who actively insulted him, Aaron responds with complete sincerity. He says, "I felt like I was stuck in a swamp, but I was dragged out by my loving family. I thought it would be right to help someone else." And wow, this completely anchors the narrative emotionally, doesn't it? Aaron literally has zero ego. He knows exactly what it's like to be helpless and drowning in your own despair. And because of this pure, unselfish empathy, the swordmaster of the academy, Ian, unexpectedly rewards him anyway. He grants Aaron a private audience and formally recognizes his truly unmatched character.
So as the months pass, the students finally reach the final exam, and you guys, the suspense is intense. The prompt is simple: demonstrate your ultimate potential. The elite rivals, Bart and Judith, they step up and put on an absolute spectacle of flashy, high-speed swordplay, literally tearing up the arena. Ilya Lindsay unleashes her family's legendary technique, summoning a literal tornado of magical aura. It's wild. And then there's Aaron. While everyone else is out there summoning tornadoes and blowing up the arena with flashy magic, Aaron just closes his eyes. No flashy aura, no magic spells. He just quietly raises his heavy, two-handed sword, meditating and preparing for exactly one strike.
And here is the explosive payoff. Aaron opens his eyes. He taps deep into those 50 years of iron will ingrained in his very soul, and he unleashes the single vertical slash from his dreams. The sheer, concentrated physical force of this one downward strike completely shatters the exam arena. I mean, the ground literally splits wide open, creating this massive, terrifying rift. It leaves the instructors, the prodigies, and the swordmaster himself completely speechless. It's a moment of absolute jaw-dropping shock that completely redefines his place in this world.
This leads right into a stunning mic drop graduation. Aaron actually secures second place overall, defeating almost every single elite noble in the school with just that single foundational sword move. But then, when Swordmaster Ian offers him the ultimate prize, a formal apprenticeship under him, Aaron throws a massive curveball. He rejects it. He packs up and departs the school. You might be wondering, why on earth would he do that? Well, because Master Ian makes him realize a pretty harsh truth. Aaron is just imitating a ghost. He actually has no personal drive of his own. He's just flawlessly copying the old man from his dreams. So Aaron is given 1 year to go out into the real world and find his own reason to swing the sword.
The contrast when Aaron finally returns to his family's territory is just incredible. We get a classic, deeply satisfying underdog scenario here. The cowardly boy who once hid in his bed while his family was openly mocked has returned as an awakened swordsman. He's got the physical presence and the unshakable aura of a seasoned warrior. However, the arrogant, rival Gyram family, they don't know this yet. They boldly invite themselves to a dinner party at Aaron's home, specifically intending to humiliate him with petty noble etiquette and mock his family, exactly like they used to do.
But Aaron's retaliation is beautifully calculated. First, he just silently endures the verbal mockery at dinner, suddenly realizing the intense pain his father has silently carried all these years. Then, he gets up, leaves the table, and grabs his heavy metal sword. The bullies, led by the incredibly arrogant Ryan Gyram, eagerly follow him out to the training grounds. They think they have an easy target. Ryan literally challenges Aaron to a real sword duel, fully intending to scar his face and ruin his family's pride once and for all. And Aaron?
Which brings us to a massive hype moment. Ryan Gyram arrogantly tells Aaron he'll give him the first strike. Big mistake. Aaron simply closes his eyes, meditates, and totally focuses his overwhelming desire to protect his family. He channels his aura and just swings his sword. He doesn't even touch Ryan. From 5 meters away, using pure terrifying air pressure and aura, Aaron completely snaps Ryan's metal sword right in half. Ryan is violently thrown against the wall, instantly paralyzed by sheer terror. In a single second, the bully's pride is absolutely shattered.
So, the crucial point is, Aaron's sincere desire to protect his family actually triggers something far beyond normal swordsmanship. Enter Ruru. Yes, Ruru is a magical, talking black cat who has actually been secretly watching him train this whole time. Ruru introduces Aaron to something called the mystical arts. This is a supreme power that entirely ignores the laws of nature. It requires a heart and a willpower so extraordinary that it literally bends reality to the user's sincere desire. And Ruru realizes Aaron's unbreakable iron will makes him the absolute perfect candidate to wield this crazy reality-bending power.
Under Ruru's expert guidance, Aaron takes hold of this power and enters a profound mind space. In the real world, he's totally enclosed in this giant pearl of magical energy. But internally, he dives incredibly deep into his own subconscious. He manifests a customized, completely isolated training world. Think of it as essentially his very own mental hyperbolic time chamber. The weather, the food, the environment, it all bends to his will so he can focus purely on the sword. But here's the kicker. Waiting for him right there in this mental world is the very man from his dreams.
Inside this mental chamber, Aaron pushes himself to absolute extremes, desperately searching for his own unique path. 6,695.
That is the exact number of times Eren swings his impossibly heavy sword in a single day inside his mind. He is trying everything to surpass the ghost that haunts him, pouring every single ounce of his soul into finding out why he, Eren Ferreira, truly wants to fight. It is a grueling, bone-crushing level of repetition that would honestly break any normal person's sanity.
But there's a dark side to this kind of sheer repetition. 96. That's the number of days Eren spends completely collapsed in a deep, burnt-out sleep inside his own mind. You see, one day, the dream mentor just suddenly vanishes without a single word. Gone. And without the ghost to imitate, Eren's motivation totally shatters. He realizes all his intense training was really just empty copying. It's like the ultimate form of imposter syndrome. He has absolutely no idea who he is without the ghost leading him. He falls into a profound psychological burnout, trapped inside his mental haven, sleeping for 96 straight days. He is dangerously close to reverting right back to the deadbeat noble he used to be.
And man, that leaves us with a massive, cinematic cliffhanger. Just as it seems like he might sleep forever in this comfortable, totally isolated space, the door to his mental cabin suddenly kicks open. An illusion of his academy rival and friend, Ilya Lindsay, steps inside. She forcefully wakes him up and demands he come out for a morning run. So, will Eren finally conquer his own mind and forge his true path, or will he remain trapped in his comfortable, isolated dreams forever? It really leaves you wondering, if you were trapped in a perfect world inside your own head, would you have the willpower to open the door and walk back out into reality? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your willpower strong.